All right. Well, this is the show, the Talking Energy Show, in the Trace Management Podcast Studio, and you know me, Matt Hill. Go around the room. Introduce yourself.
Cody Spaulding, Scissortail Pipe, and the Pipe Club podcast coming out soon.
There we go. You heard it here first. That's why he's in here.
Audra Manning, and I'm a regional sales manager for JD Resch Corporation.
What is that?
We sell casing and tubing.
Oh, cool. So you guys are competitors.
Well,
We're not
different,
competitors.
yeah.
We're,
in ways.
Collaborators at this point.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
collaborators.
Are one of you guys the broker and the other one the wholesaler? Or tell me.
we
Sort
can
of.
get into the details.
I don't know. If you
would
don't
be-
want to, I'm just curious at how casing companies collaborate.
We're going to get
Would
into
you
How many
all.
middlemen
Yeah.
can we possibly have?
For those that haven't seen you on this before, Jeremiah, who are you?
Oh, sorry. I mean, hell, I've been around. For
This
a
might
long
be the
time.
very first time that everybody even wanted to listen because how
know.
good and how great it looks, how great
It does.
sounds.
It sounds. They may actually make it through the
I
intro.
mean, if we ever get sponsors, we need these people. We need Shure. We need the Tascam because they made this mix caster. Shure microphone.
or something. If you think you have a better version,
And
maybe we leave it open to.
yeah, and the Mevo cameras, the 3-pack, they're very helpful, and that's with him starting up his own podcast. I've been
look at that.
we've been nerding out on the equipment.
Well, yeah, but we're not recommending that. If we got more free samples, we'd probably be able to recommend, right? We're not
your business
advocating.
plan.
are we going to unbox them and show them on the podcast?
Well, we could. I mean, if we had some.
One more thing for me to
paraphernalia.
mess up. That's great.
Hey, but these sound amazing, man.
So people send you guys things like so far to
Mm,
try?
They've
Could
sent
really
me,
try.
they've sent me packages from Amazon, and I've paid for them.
Yeah, they pay for
Oh,
it.
oh.
They also sent us Ho Chi Town, but we had to go pick it up and pay for
Yeah.
it at the liquor store.
All the way down there?
You know what? I've got a lot of.
We're advocating. We're waiting for that first one. To be like,
So
we're gonna
far,
give you
people have
stuff.
sent me like suggestions on you should stop doing this, or
Yeah.
Hey, don't
Get a
let those
deeper
haters
voice.
hate.
Got that one.
it was just one
Get a
guy.
deeper voice? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
How rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
Well, how?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Mito Resources.
Mito Resources. Are you looking for investors in Mito? Do you want more acreage? You want more wells?
So we haven't bought anything in a while and won't. Today's prices are ridiculous. And it comes down to, I was actually having a pretty good conversation with another guy in the industry that I really respect. And we were talking about, do we buy now or do we not?
Wait.
And the buy-ask spread has got to be huge because the sellers want to capitalize on $100 oil and they want to get that value.
Right.
Whereas the buyers are like, well, we don't really believe that $100 oil is sustainable for any long period of time. So we can't buy it for that. We only want to buy it for 85. So this bid-ask spread is huge right now.
So there's a bubble.
Yes.
Okay.
And everything. I think inflation is kind of in every part of
Are we going to see this rolling? What's your crystal ball? The bet got cashed in. Max Holloway had the $100 bill up here. That $100 bill is now donated to Oilfield Christian Fellowship. So what's the next? Crystal ball?
Man, so some people are saying $150, $200 oil. And I'm more of a.
But how long?
Oh, is this sustainable?
Not long.
No. If you look at all these cycles, I happen to be. I believe we're running into a recession current. So I've been doing quite a bit of research on stocks to purchase. Quick. I want quick things I can get in and out. Easy equities, liquid
Yes.
cash. So I've been looking at what stocks do really well in recessions, and then at the same time, I was like, well, I'll go ahead and look at and see how oil and gas stocks have performed over it. Historically, not well, of course, but if you look at 2009, you had that dip. But it was V-shaped. It wasn't the bathtub everyone was afraid of, and it shot back through the roof. But these cycles have gotten smaller and smaller. If you look at Continental
Very
stock, it looks like a saw blade, like a saw that you would use outside in your yard. It's very jagged up and down over the last 10 years.
I feel like a lot of companies are like that. I mean, I got super impatient with Diamondback stock. Sold it. Guess what it is today? I mean, it's just crazy. Same thing with like Gulfport and a lot of the ones that you thought were not doing well and we're not going to kind of rise above out of that mess, and here they are.
I learned a long time ago, for me and my aversion to risk, I buy ETFs.
There you go.
I'm most of my money is ETFs. That way.
So let's see, how much aversion to risk do you have? Are any of those ETFs in oil and gas?
Oh no, I'd say most of them are, but
Nobody
at least
ever learns their lesson about
I
diversification.
know. I know.
Including myself,
I know.
right? How do you
Including
invest in
myself.
something? We know this.
I chase it a little bit, but at least I have someone out there managing it besides me, because I'm not going to sit at home and watch it. So
Yeah.
if I'm buying individual stocks, I have to watch it. If I buy ETFs, there's some manager manager out there that I hope will bail us out if we need.
Yeah,
to.
and you have market risk, but you don't have I can't think of what it's called for individual companies. Because so if one company has some bad leadership or makes some bad
Sure,
bets,
they'll manage that at the ETF level, right?
yeah, so you do mitigate risk of
Something.
extreme events somewhat,
go.
unless you have it to the entire sector.
But then again, like you, I've learned from oil and gas experiences that right now, John Biggs and I and his wife and some other people were investing in real estate, like apartment complexes, multiple units. Where if I buy in for $50,000, well, I pretty much got a guarantee. This is very simple stuff where I'm going to return my money and I'll double it in about 5 years. But
So how are you doing that? Through like a management firm that
Yeah.
is buying these
Yeah.
and then selling down?
Yeah, we don't have to do the things. I just have to raise the capital. Like this last buy was $2 million buy-in, so we just needed to raise $2 million, and hopefully we get enough people to buy in at $50,000 or
There you
groups, whatever it is. But at least we know that it's not an oil and gas investment,
Right.
but
real estate, I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that's the next. I mean, I feel like that's the best thing to be in.
And we're used to highs and lows in oil and gas, so we're used to I can tolerate that in real estate, but at least I know in 5 years I'll have doubled my money. So that's not bad.
I've been in real estate. I think I started buying in 2009. So I got some good peaks, but even when it falls off maybe 12%. But it always comes back, right?
Yeah,
so
you gotta hold.
You got to hold. It's kind of like stock, though. Like, how long can you hold it? So I was actually talking to a
I just
couple
gotta quit. I just can't look at it.
You can't. No, you got to walk away. If you believe in the equity market and that you will get an 8% return, which is what you're supposed to on average on the S&P or whatever.
Kicking
Over
that.
time, right?
Yeah,
Key.
Kicking
over
that butt.
time, but you got to stay. You can't move the
Right.
stock when you get skittish, and that's so hard.
It is.
Everyone's got that story of how they sold too early.
Oh, yeah. Everyone.
Well, speaking of stories, so I love to ask everybody, how'd you get in oil and gas? What's your background, and where'd you come from?
Okay, so quick start. I was in college and I had a Honda Accord and a loan on it, needed to pay it off. I didn't want to leave college that summer for summer break, wanted to stay there, but ended up in a pipe yard and weeded the grass around the racks and took out the trash.
You are a hand. This guy is
to
like,
get that car paid off, and got it paid off by the end of the summer. So that was how I got into the oil field. The story's a little longer, but that's how I got in.
And where have you been since then?
So fast forward from there, 3 years, ended up graduating from East Central, studied finance and business with a little bit of focus in entrepreneurship, went to work for a fracking equipment manufacturer in Sulphur, Oklahoma. After that, ended up in Oklahoma City with a top drive manufacturing company. So I went from fracking to drilling. That was a field service location, so lots of dealing with the rigs on the phone. I think we had like 30 rigs, and we were managing the top drives on those rigs, which they have hundreds of parts. So that there's constantly issues. So I was purchasing material, taking calls, coordinating guys. Then downturn came, family business, started doing auctions for oil and gas companies, selling off their surplus and used OCTG, old country tubular goods, tubing and casing primarily, some line pipe, some drill pipe. Through that, got recruited into a field manager position in operations with second largest mill in the world for new pipe. Did that for almost 4 years, and now I started my own business, officially publicly announcing it this month.
I love it. We have so many firsts. And again, I'm telling you, always announce it in here. We're good luck. You're going to be successful because you're in here announcing it.
Thank you. Yeah, we were talking about that before.
Right? We believe that.
Science says
The only announcements has been like one post on Facebook and one post on LinkedIn. So this is probably a lot bigger outreach.
Well, all three of our Pakistani listeners right now are going to be super excited to hear about that.
I get a ton
They
of
don't
spam
understand it,
emails
but they're
now.
learning English.
Yeah,
They don't know.
They're getting better.
It's a first. It's another first.
Let's call him. Give him money.
He needs our
Well,
capital.
congratulations. I'm very excited for you. Now is a great time to kick things off.
So when you were doing that auction for these tubular goods, did you notice like you could have bought this tubulars that are now being sold for 5 times the price? Like if
At least.
wherewithal to, and you got to have that capital you don't mind spending. And look at the downturn. My buddy told me this is the smartest thing I ever heard, and I say it all the time, and I try to exercise it, I guess. I buy on cannons and sell on trumpets. So buy in bad times
Yes.
and then sell in good times, which is very difficult to do because you got to be willing to spend money in a bad time when you're worried about your own family and whatnot. So
Yeah. We ran into that about this time last year. There was the opportunity to buy a bunch of 5.5 semi-premium pipe that's very, very popular in our market. And things were just too up and down. We were told no, we're not going to do that right now.
Would have been sweet
And
buy.
it would have been a really sweet buy.
Yeah.
And now that same item is what, like probably $32.50 a ton, and it was probably $13.50 a ton at the time.
Oh
Maybe
man.
going up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you'll get another chance. If that is one thing I can guarantee.
2026. Don't worry
Yes,
about
yeah.
it.
2026, you think 4 years, Matt?
I am positive. So
hope
I've
you're
had
right.
You think
no.
that long?
Tell me what are prices over this 4 years? No,
That I can't. That I can't tell you.
Okay.
But I've had several people now that are way smarter than me. Our next downturn is 2025, and I think that's maybe more like an
That
election kind of a
sounds-
cycle, maybe. So that's simple, right?
I was
Simple
thinking about
math.
this last night, by the way. If I was the Republicans, I'd let Biden win again because he'll have to. We're going towards a recession, so he'll have the inflation
Right,
economy
he'll have
and the
all the bad
recession,
stuff on
and then
his
you get the
plate.
Republican in there afterwards. He could be the worst
Save
guy
the
ever.
day.
Yeah,
Save
he's
the
going to be.
day.
This is
superhero.
how
I would
you-
not want to be the president over the next 4 years.
This is how you
would
know
not
I'm
either.
This is how you know, guys, that I care more. I'm a Christian, and I care about you as an individual. Than I mean, God, I love oil and gas, and you're right about that. I hate that. Ugh, makes me sick. to
Well, no, this is good. Look at it. Also, we
but
make more
in-
money if
in
you love
good
oil and
conscience.
gas.
Yeah,
you make
be-
more money with the Democrat.
But then you punish. But
Yeah,
then you
which is
punish the world.
mind-blowing.
You punish the world for having a Democratic president. And that's the rub, right?
You're not liking what he's saying. He's going
Our-
to take the ruble to rubble.
Our industry may be thriving right now, but
Yeah,
people
but
suffer
it's thriving, but in
in a weird.
It's not really
weird
thriving. The
ways.
operators are
Right.
thriving. The service companies, because
No, we are. We're raising prices.
Oh, I know,
Yeah,
but
we don't have a choice.
Yeah,
we,
you have to.
We have to bring people in, and the IADC meeting today was very eye-opening in the fact that most of the employees we get now are going to be brand new, right out of high school, and
Which
a
is-
different choice than college, right? Careers,
Yeah, but-
because we're not getting people that used to be in the industry that know what they're doing.
Right.
That's
which
it. We're
which
done with
sucks because we're in a different time. I mean, my dad is 72 this year, and he just retired during COVID.
Wow.
He was with Halliburton for 30 years with Halliburton, 45 plus.
You tell
years
your
in the
dad,
industry.
you put consultant by your name, and don't you ever retire, buddy.
That's right.
Yeah. Well,
You never know. Somebody might say, "Hey, you're a consultant." Yeah, today. for
Today I
you.
am.
That one day, like I just had something. I
right.
didn't have anything else to do.
Did you need some consulting in the nitrogen world or
Yes.
semen world?
Yes, the
he-
answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, hey, guess what? Guys younger than him that will have
Oh,
the willpower to go work will can at least shadow him and
That's
pass that knowledge on.
That's the issue. It's the lack of work ethic.
Man, I didn't think
I
there was
mean,
any out there.
That's so makes me feel so old.
Yeah, when you say
Like-
back in my day or
But
something
it's
like
like,
that, the kids,
or the
next
whole
generation.
they don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah.
All
I mean, I'm
all
35 years old.
I was. Oh, I wasn't gonna say I was gonna all 25 years of her experience.
10 of that in
I
all.
want to know all about your experience. Hey, by the way, I've been gushing, over my friend over here forever, telling her to get her Tookus in here and come and share her
What
experience.
is it,
and my-
Tookus, exactly?
The back end.
That is, where does that come
The
from?
gluteus.
Yeah,
Can I get origination, please?
I
Use
don't,
it
I
in
don't
a
know.
sentence.
It was something that my grandmother whipped a lot because I deserved it.
Well,
Oftentimes.
I've heard it too, and I understood that it was associated with the rear
Go
end.
pick a switch so I can whip your Tookus.
yes, go find
Right?
a switch.
Yeah, get the switch.
It was-
I'm an idiot. I was like helping her out. Like, man, I think the best one's probably from that willow. It stung.
To add to what all y'all mentioned about coming from a service side too, I think another problem on the labor side is that the pay that like you mentioned, the young kids, right?
Yes.
The pay that they expect is more than what the people that are leaving the industry and their experience levels at. And
Yes.
I just had a conversation before this at lunch about that, about pay at like Amazon, your big box stores versus your entry level.
They're at 1850. My buddy Galen deals with this every day.
It's
You
a- you
cannot
can-
find
So,
people.
you can-
Amazon,
You can go to 7-Eleven and get the same job too.
you can go to McDonald's in Monahans, Texas, and make $21 an hour.
Baloney.
But what these
Is it
young bucks,
21
if they're
bones?
listening,
Have
they
you been to
need know.
Monahans?
Wow.
It's
I mean-
not enough money.
Exactly, but I'm just saying that's a lot at McDonald's. To
Am I the
ask
only
if you
one?
want fries with that? You know,
Oh, I love West Texas. Something might be wrong. I know.
Lies.
I'm broken. No, I really do. Like every time I go to Midland, like I
it's
could
just
live here.
he goes for the huddle house. He loves the diner vibe. You know,
I'm that kind of guy. But anyway, give everybody out there a view of your life in the industry. How'd you get into this?
my college roommate, her husband, I work with her brother and their family. And they've been literally my only bosses since I got out of school. I have a degree in advertising from UCO.
You're a Broncho.
I am, yeah.
Broncho.
I started out in Stillwater at OSU and was marketing at that point, and then I changed to advertising at UCO and finished. I graduated in May 2010. After that, I did a little stint in food and restaurant administration. I was a general manager of Orange Leaf frozen yogurt franchise, in Norman. And then I did some like franchise training. So anyone who bought a franchise came to Oklahoma City and did all their training at the corporate office that's just down here by the old Gulfport building. And then they would come to Norman and train with me for a couple of days.
Do you recall
like
offhand
hands-on.
what the franchise took yearly?
Cost-wise?
Yes.
Oh.
For Orange Julius, right? Isn't that what you said?
It's not,
No,
it's Orange Leaf.
Orange
Oh.
Leaf,
Yes.
delicious.
It's like frozen.
froyo.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
self-serve
The
frozen.
best-
Franchises are always
best froyo.
interesting to me. I love
I can't
love the
remember.
franchise
That's
model.
been so long ago. I feel like the initial buy-in was maybe like
50, 100.
15.
May-
They're all over the
15?
place.
Really? Oh,
Well,
wow.
some are low, but like McDonald's, great job. You're gonna pay a lot
Million.
more.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's that much, but they do all your advertising.
Yeah, I mean,
So
well, you
does
don't need
Orange Leaf- what
advertising
did
if
they
you
do?
own McDonald's.
so Orange Leaf. They had a marketing team that
Uh-huh.
would do things for you, and you paid a marketing fee. And so they would come. They would send out stuff, your quarterly marketing materials, and you would get those in the mail. Put them on the wall, and all that, and then it just promoted the flavors of the season, or
So you really brought a different view into our, and again, we talked about this, before we even started this, is we need a diversification of thought to continue to grow our industry.
right.
And, coming in from outside of oil and gas with your background in marketing,
Which
advertising,
was the polar opposite.
this isn't that glamorous, right?
but
and
it's
you're
fun.
like, but how do you make it glamorous?
um.
How do you make it to where people are like, oh man, look at that bit. I can't wait to go rent it. That's a hard thing to sell.
Yeah. That's true.
Look at this delicious
Steel.
tubular steel. It's
Yes.
going down in
Hot
the hole.
off
You
the
do
mill.
Hot off the
you do it
press.
like a cologne or perfume where you're selling a thought process.
thought
You notice,
process, yeah.
like how they do cologne commercials. They make no sense to me, or perfume commercials. Have you guys seen?
I
them?
haven't paid attention.
They're
to
the
this.
weirdest shit ever. They like say 3 words in a whispered tone. Oh shit! And it's someone like standing off a balcony, no ocean around. Right?
This is the one.
Yeah.
It's like prescription sales.
Yeah.
This is a prescription to get her in your bed. Thank you.
But, no, they're the weirdest commercials ever.
That makes
How
a
do
lot
you
of
tell
sense.
someone about a smell?
How do you sell some wool country tubular goods?
Yeah, I would rather
Well,
not sell that. by smell.
luckily, they are a
Luckily.
necessity.
Yeah, it's a
not that hard.
captured market.
Yes, luckily. Right now, it's just the supply and the demand and the price.
And that's what we're getting into here on
Yeah,
this show,
it's
folks. We're going to
Yeah.
solve the world's
crazy.
problems where we're going to get the steel of the future.
What I keep saying is that right now, most people in OCTG aren't in the business of selling pipe. They're in the business of getting pipe because it's
Right.
already sold.
Yeah.
Very true.
So are prices going to go back down to reality, or like was yesterday the cheapest pipe we ever bought?
No.
No.
Like I'm having
I don't think
I've been
so.
doing a lot of thinking since with this inflation has brought a lot of ponderance to me.
Yeah.
Was everything cheaper yesterday than it is today? Commodities.
The
I don't think
supply
our
is
oil
less.
Yeah.
Today than it was yesterday. So
For how long? Why are your prices so high?
And why would you even be honest about that? Like, you might as well be like, buy now, don't
I mean,
wait.
it's flat out raw goods. I mean,
we probably need to be clear that my business and Audra's business, Audra sells new pipes, so that's her day to day.
Okay.
My
well,
business is
yeah.
a whole different service to on
Well,
the
yeah,
production
get
and
into
plugging
that. Hey,
side.
let's
So
wrap.
I can answer those questions because I just came from a major mill, but Audra deals with this on a daily basis.
What is your business that you just started? Like, just for those out there, like,
Sure.
what's it going to encompass?
Sure. So Scissortail Pipe, I started in April of 2020. We had nothing going on when I was working with this major mill. I just had a lot of downtime. So I figured, hey, I'm going to start a business. If it fails, who cares? I got nothing to do anyways. So I went back to my old contacts and used pipe that used to buy off of our auctions and started learning about niche construction applications. So push piers, ping piers, welded piers, helical piers, commercial piling. And I learned that industry. And so the core now, fast forward to today, the core now is that I buy used tubing and used casing off of well sites, off of pipe yards, off of people's backyards. I know how to inspect threads and I inspect pipe bodies. I have massive purchasing power because I sell to niche environments. I don't sell for like fencing for cattle
Structural.
people. I do occasionally when someone calls and like a friend needs some pipe, whatever. But that's not the core business. So my core business now, kind of like I mentioned, was buying pipe, because the customer base has been built so large now that I'm not having a problem with sales. I'm having a problem with finding material.
That's true. It's the people are coming out of the woodwork. I mean, operators that I've called on before that have just never given me a chance. They're like, "Hey, do you have this, and this?" I'm like, "Yeah, you and everybody else looking for
Yeah.
those items."
So you are in a position where you can actually, and you don't want to, but you have to go to your current customer and say, "Hey, I don't want to ever fire a customer, but I have pressure from above. I have to bring my prices to here. So can you come here, or otherwise I have to go?"
Yeah,
and offer
typically,
this?
the nice thing typically is it's all negotiated by quarter.
Okay.
So like we just put in June POs with a major United States domestic mill. So therefore they will not give me pricing yet for Q3 until probably mid to end of May.
So they'll hold the prices flat for the entire
For
quarter?
the quarter, yes, typically.
You
not
bought
too bad.
that in.
How does
Yeah.
that work when you have Ukraine conflict all of a sudden in the middle?
So we do have quite a bit of conflict because one of our more quality imports is inner pipe, which comes straight out of Ukraine.
Wow.
So it's literally sitting in Houston. I've heard mixed stories. I've heard that it's sitting on boats. I've heard that it's sitting in yards.
And this is raw. Raw
No,
steel.
no, this is finished product.
Finished
coming-
product.
coming over from
Wow.
Ukraine that is ready to be put down whole, but it's being supposedly held hostage.
Well, okay, so you have like two different markets in pipe or in tubing and casing. You have seamless and you have ERW.
Okay.
ERW is made out of a hot rolled coil, which is just like a
So it's got
toilet
a
paper
weld
roll
line on it.
sheet. Or it's like a toilet paper roll of steel, and they roll it out and they turn it and they weld it. Well, 10% of that comes from Russia or Ukraine.
Right.
And so that's one of the drivers you were asking about the price, right? So that's one of the major drivers.
But in the middle of the quarter, if they already set their prices for a quarter, what happens if
You're
there's
waiting.
a conflict?
Price is
No,
still
do
the
they
same, but
honor
you may
now?
not
They
get it.
honor the
Operator,
prices?
They-
buy now.
Well,
Don't
I'm
do
saying-
AFEs, buy now.
Well, but where do you get
They-
your prices for the quarter from? That is from the mills or from the steel manufacturers, whatever.
Correct.
So they weren't anticipating, of course, this massive conflict. Do they hold the prices for the full quarter still, or do they like, nah, okay, we're not going to honor that?
They
Everything
have.
just went up
I mean,
30%.
no, they have. April, May, and June have been all negotiated contractual pipe, so contractual pricing and all that. So that's the only thing is, I've got operators coming out right now saying, "Hey, I want to drill these wells. What's your price looking for late June, early July?" I do not know. I
Gotcha.
cannot.
Really?
I
Cannot say.
cannot give you a price right
So you
now.
can't even bid them? You just say,
I can tell them, yes, we can probably order that pipe for you.
There you go. Can you?
But
get
I
the pipe
don't
to them?
know
Yeah.
exactly what the price is going to be per ton. And then I have to think about, okay, I've got a price per ton landed in Houston, but then I've got to truck that to, Houston up to Grady County or wherever the popular place is right at that time. So,
Wow.
but we use the rail service a lot. Anything that I have made domestically, I get railed from Alabama to Oklahoma City or Midland or Houston, or we do things in the Rockies and North Dakota, Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, all of that area. So
Do y'all do stuff in California too? Did you mention California? Just out of curiosity.
we did for a long time. I never have personally,
Okay, I haven't either. I just
but
How long are they going to be drilling? I mean, they haven't.
two of the-
they haven't put a moratorium on drilling completely, have they?
no, I don't think so.
I wouldn't know, but I do know that they have all these. They're trying to get away
we
from
not know
gas
that,
engines, and they're trying to get away from gas mowers, and I mean, that could really.
It didn't hurt
And
my
I've worked
feelings
for
whenever I
two
saw.
companies based in California. The company I work for now started in California, and
Why'd they leave California?
well, they still have an office in Bakersfield, and then now one in Houston as well. That's been there for quite a while. But
Just want to be in the oil capital.
yeah, same thing with the company I worked at for about 7.5 years. They were based in Orange County-ish area and started in 1959 out off Long Beach area. And then same thing. It was a tax incentive for them to have a Houston office versus California. So it just made sense for them, I think, money-wise.
and hell, it's probably nice to go somewhere where you're liked.
Yeah.
I think where you're afraid, you're not afraid
I think
to lose your
Bakersfield
job.
probably is their own
Yeah,
little
so
world. I'm
true.
pretty sure everybody in Bakersfield, like, we're in oil and gas, and
Yes.
we love this town.
Which, it's crazy because when I was a kid, I can remember vividly being in an airport coming back from Disney World maybe, and my dad had on a Halliburton.
Disneyland, ma'am.
hat. No,
Unless you were in Florida. You were in Florida. Okay, we were talking
I'm
about
going to say it here
California.
first, Pedoland.
So when we were coming back from, I can't remember where we were going or coming back. I was young. I was probably in fourth grade or something, and my dad had on a Halliburton shirt or a hat. I'm sorry, it was a hat. And I mean, the dirty looks came out of the woodwork. But this was,
When
I
was
feel
this?
like,
When you were young?
yeah, this was like fourth grade ish. So like 96.
Okay, because I was going to say, Halliburton
97.
wasn't really favorably looked at after
Aaron
2001
Brockovich.
either. Oh, yeah.
Aaron
There's
Brockovich
been
was a
several
huge-
things.
I think it's because that was more like a Cheney misunderstanding. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Cheney
could-
was misunderstood.
Yeah,
Or
it's
that.
spinning. But I just say they were not favorably looked at for several. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Aaron
Halliburton.
Brockovich.
Halliburton.
Aaron Brockovich came to Duncan. I mean, that's where I grew up. It's in Duncan, Oklahoma. And she came there. It was.
And you're like, hey,
big
listen,
show.
liberal crazy person that's
Right.
gonna have a movie made out you, and Julie Roberts is gonna be like, oh, the little guy.
Right.
I'm still guessing Halliburton is not in the wrong. That's what I think.
Well, I feel like they've either had the money to cover everything up that they might have did
Nope.
that was wrong.
Nope.
but
I think Aaron Brockovich was just.
She was in the wrong. She was just money hungry.
a
huh?
lunatic.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She's
This is
so
where
loony.
Matt and I defer.
Yeah, liberal.
Yeah, go the other way.
Liberal, and then there's always right. There's black and there's white, and then there's the correct answer, which is mine. But hey, you're soft and sweet. That's what I love.
Soft and sweet.
There's lots of things I love about
Yeah,
Jeremiah.
it is.
So how do you deflect situations in the political world in this industry?
What do you mean?
He's not really a liberal. He just
Okay.
says
Oh no, I'm a realist, and
A
I
realist. Okay.
I honestly,
science data based.
Okay.
yeah, I don't really.
Realism I can handle a lot
Yeah,
more.
I don't care about party. I vote for individuals for one. So
Yeah.
I will tell you that I don't vote party lines. I think that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely. I'd rather you didn't vote because you're not helping anyone by blindly following a party to the end of earth. But outside of that, I just vote for what's best for me. So
There you go.
I couldn't agree more.
There you go. Vote.
yeah.
Vote
I mean,
your.
what else am I
conscience.
supposed to do? Take care of my family and everything else.
That's right.
And
With a baby on the way.
baby,
man.
first.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
First one?
First one. I've never had a baby before.
Oh my gosh.
Touched one. I've seen one. I've never had
That is, is life changing.
I assume.
They're pretty great. You're gonna be.
Twins.
You're gonna be a great.
Why does
dad.
everyone lie? You know, so everyone.
I think you're gonna be a great dad.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
No, just wait.
I don't have any
Wait
doubt.
for the hilarious moments that happen between four walls. You know, the things that you're not going to go out and just rush to tell your buddies about. And then you're going to be like, okay, yeah, parenthood is very interesting and not what I was prepared for.
Yeah, it's like this
A
is
lot
crazy.
of fluids are on you.
Well,
you
a lot
know,
of
yes,
things.
a lot of
Yeah.
things.
about it though. You're given an
A lot
immense
of
amount of
liquids.
responsibility over another organism and prior. And like, go watch a video or here's
Right.
a pamphlet.
This-
What do they tell you?
He's my this little one, this 2.5-year-old. He's my fifth, and I'm just saying. Basically, your only job as a dad is don't let him die. The rest of it's up to mom. We don't have. You think that you have these grandiose, like, oh, this is how I should be a dad, yada yada yada. Just don't let him die. That's your only job.
They'll figure it out.
You'll be fine. Yeah. Everybody else, relax. You don't know what you're doing.
And honestly, like, if I had all that time back of all the things that I read, just don't bother.
Don't
I got one
don't
book.
bother reading.
I'm gonna force
Reading
myself
is
to read
silly.
the book.
And don't
I'm gonna read
Google
the
a
book.
damn thing either.
Do buy a zoo pass because you can walk around forever. You will wear them out at the zoo. The zoo is the best thing ever.
Is that
for-
something you live for? Is to wear out the kids?
Yes,
Yes.
your only job is to see each day. Can I wear this one out today? You can't, but you're gonna try.
Right.
If you don't know about it, I think there's like an adult and children's zoo like happy hour tour thing where you get to walk
There
around and
is.
drink for a
So
couple
there
hours
is
with the
now a
kids.
bar
So
On
you
a
may
regular
wanna put that
basis.
on your calendar.
No way. Have you experienced it?
I don't have any kids, so I
I
haven't
don't
gone.
have- I
But
figured you were a little quiet over there.
yeah,
I
I'm not
haven't
up
heard
kids yet.
about. I have not experienced that, but I did hear that the zoo has a bar now or something.
Hey,
do,
hey,
Zubers, which is a
amateurs,
lot of
we
fun.
are
Yeah,
we
Zubers.
all have a bar if you're not afraid to bring your own flask to the zoo.
That's
Okay,
true.
just saying. I guess I'm
I didn't wanna go to
experienced. Yeah,
jail.
I'm experienced.
You're
I bring a
getting
flask. Yeah, Cannon's running around wild. You know, I'm letting him play with the monkeys and the lions, and I'm like,
You know, I'll have
That's
real respect
good.
for you when you got a camel pack, right? Like the flax
yeah.
can't do it anymore. Now I want the camel pack.
man, if I drink a whole camelback of my whiskey, we're in trouble. It'd have to
Yeah.
be
Man, there was this
Keeping the
mountain
child
bike
alive
race.
would have failed.
keeping the
that
child
day.
alive. Yeah,
Forgot about that part.
go back to
Yeah.
rule number 1.
Right. Rule number one is child has to come home alive
Live.
and so
Or to like, where's the kid?
Kinda
oh,
well
crap!
cared
This is a
for.
monkey. Where's the?
I knew I forgot something.
dang it, I left it there. Now I have to go all the way back from Edmond.
Just real quick, I had to list because it's going to drive me because I went to tell the story. But in college, they raced mountain bikes, and there was this race.
Jeez, this
It
guy.
has to do with
Guy with
camelbacks.
9 lives over here.
And you got to fill the camelback up with beer, and
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to finish the camelback before the race is over. And I never joined it or anything, but that does exist. So I'm surprised you brought it up because I've never heard anyone else bring up a Camelback.
Oh yeah. Wait, are you telling me this at Easy Credit University? That sounds like something you're gonna hear.
It wasn't
at CU.
there. I learned from it at Easy Credit University.
Okay.
I'm glad you know that too, though.
Dated a couple women from down there.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's a beautiful country. I guess there's a prison.
Yeah.
They
There's
were
a
not
prison.
in that prison when I dated them.
I'm gonna
thank
once
God.
again. I'm gonna bring
When?
this. I'm gonna bring this
When?
back in from the weeds for just. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
bring it
sorry,
as
yeah.
we
best
got
I
off
can.
track.
That's what we're supposed to do. This is why we have podcasts, so we can explore. Well, just be familiar with each other, so we can help others, and hopefully bring like a, very familiar experience out there to everyone. Go, hey, we're here. We want to talk about your own issues in oil country tubular goods, and see how we can help you. So. Going forward, this is where, I pull on your experience. What's next for, what we're going to do? Can we possibly pivot in our, country as a whole? I'm sure you guys have these, big conversations, but can we not go back to getting the ore ourselves and making our own pipe right here? And
We do that.
But how fast can we ramp that up?
What percentage? I guess.
Yeah.
How much are we? How much of our is made and or
That 10% over there might not be, accessible anymore. So how
I
fast
used
can
to
we do it?
know percentages a little bit better than I do
That's a
now.
tricky question.
Ukraine
with
is
a tricky
super
answer.
landlocked, so they must be able to get it so
Yes.
much cheaper if they can first train it to a shoreline and then put it on a boat to bring it to the States. Like
United
their cost
States-
of goods must be
The
significantly.
United States has land, and that means we have resources. We have the ore we need to smelt, and we have
Right.
the resources to turn it into pipe and put threads on it. So why are we not doing that, ramping it up?
Cost.
Do you want to jump in first?
Everything's going to go up anyway. You might as well do it here so it's more secure at least, right?
We've been outsourcing jobs forever.
We can't anymore.
Hopefully you're right, but I don't.
Or at least we
There's-
do it as a continent and go North America.
Well, we already did that. That was Ross Perot. You hear that sucking sound, everything's going to Mexico. Which it did. That's not any better.
I like Mexico, and if we give them jobs, then they don't.
I hate.
come
We've
across the border.
exported all of our jobs. We're a nation.
And they're a better
importing.
country for it.
We import goods and export money. That's what we do in the United States.
That's what every country does.
No, China does not. They export goods and import money.
Well, it's a
Communist.
it's a
We are
very
net negative
It's a
on-
symbiotic relationship. We
That's
enjoy
not-
the fruits
anyway,
of that.
Casing. What were we talking about?
You go first, Audra. I'll fill in.
Okay. As far as why are we not making more domestic pipe?
More people again. We're going back to labor.
So yeah, you've got labor shortages because pipe mills had to lay off a ton of people during COVID. So now it's bringing all those people back, bringing a mill online at minimum. What do you think? 90 days?
And cost.
That's not terrible.
Depends on
that's
the mill,
not.
but
That's
that's a good
undoable.
guess.
Wait, you're talking about idled mills.
Yeah.
Are there
Idle
quite a bit of
mills.
idled mills in the United States?
I guarantee. you.
Yes.
There's idled
um,
lines at mills as well.
idle
What do you mean lines? Oh,
thread
Thread
lines.
lines. Yeah.
What do you mean by thread lines?
People have to man
So, like-
all the stations.
Correct. So you go into a pipe mill and there's someone standing there while the end of the pipe is getting threaded. They shove off the
Legitimately, threaded lines are they're putting a thread. They're cutting
Think of like a
Well,
conveyor
it's a-
belt.
yeah,
There's
it's a
building cars,
machine.
it's like 5
Yeah, it's being
lines.
machined, but someone's there managing that machine.
right.
Yeah, no, we
sure,
talked
it's
about
easier.
that today. That all the people at the IADC meeting. Yes, there's amazing automation happening everywhere in our industry, but for every automation, there's one more person we're adding to our industry
Or losing.
or losing.
You're
But
probably losing 3 and adding 1.
okay, well, you add 3 robots, then you add 1 trained
yeah.
tech. But there's still people, and there always will be people. We need now it's not just a labor person. Now you're adding. Oh, will you please come into our industry? And it's not just muscle. We need your muscle and brain.
Right.
That's a lot to ask.
How does that change? I wonder
That's a
how
lot
that
to
changes
ask.
the dynamic of hiring because it's no longer like most jobs are going to be. We need techs now. We don't need labor.
We need programmers.
We need people.
Right.
that
Our industry is hiring more programmers than ever before.
Yeah, or techs though, just to fix the program or the little piece of electronics that solder that broke that you got to find. Like someone that's good at brute force, not going to be good at that. So what is that? Hopefully, we've got the intelligence.
Well, I think it all goes back to, like you said, pay, right? As an industry, we're going to have to fund education. We're going to have to, from the ground up, we're going to
To a
have
certain
to
extent, maybe.
create energy literacy where our school systems are not only proficient about turning out people that can come into our industry and start working, but also just have the the political want to as well. Like, oh yeah, I believe in oil and gas. I know that what you guys do and why you're important, and I'd love to be a part of the industry.
Yeah.
So it's a
That's
broad
the thing.
spectrum.
Is it? I mean, we do get a bad rap. Horrible rap sometimes. I mean, it depends on, obviously on what part of the country you're in and who you're listening to and what news platform, of course, you're listening to at the time. But yeah, we get a bad reputation.
We're blessed here in Oklahoma. You go
are.
to Texas Panhandle. I mean, if you go to Midland, like that's family. Oklahoma is
Right.
like more sheltered. But we just got, I just got back from Colorado, and we have the parking lot party. But everybody that walks by is like, "What do you guys do?" "Oh, we're in oil and gas. We're with Social Octane. This is a parking lot
Right.
party for oil and gas." And like people boo you when they walk
Oh,
by.
yeah.
No way.
Oh, I mean, Denver has
Which is crazy because
a great population of oil and gas workers.
Yes, but
However,
still so
that's not the
crunchy.
biggest, oil and gas. They are experiencing and we should all, be vigilant of what, anybody in Colorado goes through because they are a testing ground for, the rest of the nation in a lot smaller, little area. What might come of, our own states and regulatory.
Yeah.
Terrifying, really.
I think as you were asking about as far as like kids growing up and wanting to get into oil and gas and learn it and it being a natural part of our economy and a natural part of our culture also goes back to the question that you asked about how do we get stuff made more domestically. And I think where that starts is, there's going to have to be massive ramp up. So like I'm a mill guy or I was a mill guy. Now I'm not. Audra works with mills all the time. So even, you asked the question, like how do we make the pipe domestically? That's a complex question because where's it rolled, where's it finished, and where's the raw material come from? It's almost like this T-shirt. This T-shirt could be made here, but the raw material could come from overseas. So
Yeah, is it made here? Is it assembled here?
exactly.
Right.
So it's going to cost mills a bunch of money if they want to get into the scrap processing business to create the raw material. So operators are going to need to be willing to pay a little more for product in order to, support that growth domestically. But as that happens, the prices will go down because there's always a break even, right?
So we're also up against the timeline of the next downturn.
Yes,
But
and
how
then
does that
as that breaks
impact when it
over,
come in?
Because we don't know. I mean, we don't know. My first downturn was in 2000. What was that? End of 14.
You would be,
Beginning of
I was like,
14, something like
yeah.
that.
So for me personally, it was 8.
Yeah.
You're the next 10
we were the
years.
next.
So I remember 08 being very. I mean, I remember 08 vividly, but I was still in school.
Yeah.
My dad was still working. I mean, I don't remember a lot of it, but
Hadn't hurt your pocketbook yet.
I was just
Right.
out of school. I was a MWD engineer at the time, and that was awesome. So I took summer off. I was like, no, I don't need to go to work with those other guys. Got a family. And I just
No, my
I stayed
friend-
at the lake the whole time.
my friend did that
awesome.
in Denver. My friend,
Awesome.
she was doing a contract work for Anadarko, and she's not married, didn't have any kids. She was like, screw this, I'll just give my job to someone who actually needs it.
No, I had
She started waiting tables on the mountain again.
what is it? They gave me a stipend every month, so I was still had
yeah.
money coming in. I just wasn't getting the active jobs. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. I loved it. So
Hey, I mean,
I took 9 months off.
If someone wants to pay you just to chill at home,
Yeah.
sign me up.
I will tell you, because it wasn't as much.
Don't say that.
Well,
There's
I
lots
want
of
you to
people are
work.
still doing that.
After
That's
9
true,
months, I was
that's
like, hey, man, I
encourage-
would need
Well,
labor.
You are in
Some-
don't forget you're in an influencer
Yes,
position right now. Don't
I know.
encourage that.
I'm just saying,
behavior.
some people they have expectations and reality.
So
I'll say that.
So I've thought about this a lot. Is you guys give me your honest opinion, because I think everyone pretty much had the same. If you're telling me you can make $100K a year in oil and gas, but you have extreme systematic risk every 4 years of losing your job. So your potential is 400,000, but you're gonna have two years off probably before you go back to work. So 6-year period, you're making 400K. Would you make 75,000 a year instead for 6 years?
No.
No,
You'd rather do the 4 years?
I'd rather make 4 years at 150 and save my money. Let me
Right.
Well, I'm
decide
talking
what
about
I do with my
same.
money.
So I'm actually saying more of like a roughneck. I don't know if they're going to get to 150. They're going to be 80 to 100. but
Let's
even
all go
that-
to independent consulting then. Like, hey, good. Everybody in our industry, there's no more salary, so I'm
So,
an independent consultant and I get
Matt,
paid a day rate.
maybe you're super financially savvy then, and actually set aside money for that. But I don't.
I've
think a lot of
become
people
I've become
do.
that
Yeah,
way.
some
But
people-
listen,
some
that's
people
where
Yeah,
that's where
most people don't.
Right.
They call
All
it roughneck rich, right? So
Roughneck
you
rich.
get a paycheck, you go out and buy a new vehicle or side by side. or something.
Oil-filled trash making oil-filled
I don't
cash.
think that's
Yeah.
an
But that's where we
industry
come
problem,
in as an industry and decide that, hey, this isn't just an industry anymore. This is a
No.
family, and we're not going to let
Right.
people fail anymore. And when I see that going on, I'm like, hey, look, you are now an
Sounds like
independent
nice
contractor.
words.
No, it's not anymore for me. It's just personal. Like, this is a war.
Well, because we know all these people.
Yeah,
You
I
know
don't.
what mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I
we
don't
know
want to
their
see
children,
anybody
we
go.
know
I don't
their
want any more
families.
suffering that you see.
Right.
You see it. I see it. We've had
Exactly.
friends to do it. Like no more. Like there. I mean, we can't tell people what to do with their money, but we can like strongly suggest you do not invest in that. You invest in this.
Or don't buy that truck.
Do not buy that truck. You
Right.
do. None of us should in our industry live beyond our means any longer. We've known that.
It's
long
a
ago.
systematic
But
problem
I
with
do too.
everyone in the United States. Yes, legitimately outside
live
of our
on
industry.
credit.
Yes,
It just happens to be a little worse in the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
or more exacerbated because there's more money.
Right.
It comes in quickly and leaves just as quickly.
I would say I agree with Matt. I wouldn't take the 75K. I would just say, just from experience, did this myself, is figure out ways to stay in the oil and gas and capitalize on the down market.
And the down, I mean, you're doing that right now, starting a company and
That's it.
starting
Yeah,
a
I
business.
love. what
I'd
you're
actually say
doing.
he's starting at the peak.
The best
We're heading
part-
for
I
That's
started
not-
it
But
April
he's, no,
2020.
he started it when it was the worst.
2020.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But
Cool.
still, I mean, now things have worked out to where he's coming live with it, and
So you're
probably couldn't
sourcing
be the
from.
better time.
So you know for your business where every mill is in the
Mm-hmm.
United States and every other place on earth, right? Like you
Foreign, domestic, yes.
you know where every piece of casing is going to be made, and then you start bidding on it, saying, "Hey, we'll buy it for this." How does that even work?
So we have people higher up than me probably have better mill relationships. I mean, I've got plenty of my own as well, but mill relationships are pretty essential, especially right now with the
Extremely.
foreign.
Can't agree enough.
Yeah, especially right now with the foreign situation. Some of my closest allies right now are quality imports because the domestic side, it takes them so long to ramp up and catch back up. They're doing a great job. I mean, there's no, hatred on their part because they're trying as best as they can. But we do still have to rely on some foreigns until we can figure out how to make enough domestics to not have to do that. Really, I mean,
Okay, so me as a salesman operating gray areas around, many times over, could we do something cool like, could all of us agree to like, we're going to buy casing from the Ukraine at 10 times the market value just because we care about Ukraine? I don't really care if
I could answer this as
hold
a
on.
producer.
I don't listen.
Cut it out.
The producers may or may not have East Coast, West Coast liberal Ivy League investors who may or may not look at the books all the way. Could we possibly like hide a lot of casing bought?
You could hide anything in
You
these
have-
wells.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
So
in
I'm
these
just I'm
AFEs,
looking at a way to
With a
I'm
very,
looking at a
very
way to
good
launder
management
I'm looking at a
program.
way to launder money and get it to the Ukraine to buy arms is what I'm saying.
We're giving them arms. They don't need any.
yeah.
Okay, well,
They don't have to buy shit. We're
one way to support the Ukraine, or if you
here's-
like Russia, could you do it that way too?
Yeah. Does Russia have that grade of iron ore? Or is it coming from Ukraine? I'm
there's-
sorry, I meant to say
Russia has a lot of
No,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no as well.
Can we do a little bit
land mass.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I want to see if you guys can
people.
answer these questions.
Probably better work ethic than we
All
have
right.
to.
So
How many mills do you think is in Russia alone?
I don't know how many mills, but it's 10% of ERW, and that's half of all the
Yeah.
pipe coming into the U.S.
Wow.
So how
There's
much?
a lot.
Are we still buying? Hold on. Are we still buying Russian casing? As
No, we
a-
can't.
I don't
Legally,
think
you
we can.
cannot.
Do you
I don't
think-
we can.
blocked
No,
right
the
now?
sanctions with the sanctions.
Okay,
are
so
down.
no Russian casing is coming into the United States right now.
I do not believe so.
Not
That's-
through Russia.
Not through yeah,
Right.
yeah. Ship
Trade-
it. You ship it to
Belarus.
South
Maybe
America.
Maybe some
If
trading.
it was made in
companies.
Russia and it's sitting out right outside, then yeah.
Yeah, if it goes to China, who ships it to South America, and then we
Right.
buy it from South America. So 10 companies later, we're buying Russian casing.
That
Well,
happens
but
a
that
lot.
could be a good.
Depends
That
on
could
the
be a
mill.
good question. If they're making it in Russia, but we can't get it over here because of the unrest situation,
They sell it to somebody who
Well,
gets
that
it.
goes back to the raw material. If it's a green tube,
right?
which means it's not finished,
Right.
it still has to be finished in the U.S. So it still has to get to us. It can't go through someone else to get to us. I mean, I guess.
They're getting pretty strict on that stuff.
try.
Like it is
Yeah.
really hard to get anything like airplanes, all kinds of stuff is very difficult with the sanctions in place.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hope so.
But did you guys know
That's the type of punishment that this required.
for what?
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Just
for what?
if a bomb hits a
Putin
if
and all
a
of
bomb
his
hits a
mess.
child, I'm just saying, like I'm done.
Right.
Like I'm
Right.
just pissed off.
When is war okay? When we initiate it?
Yeah,
No,
America.
well, I mean,
I just don't know.
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
curious of when
Rowdy
war is cool.
questions.
Yeah, I know.
You
Sorry.
knew that answer, right?
Yeah, that
Like,
Hochatown's going down good.
No,
Sorry.
I'm just saying,
Back
God,
to back
God bless the
world
USA. Our bombs are Christian bombs.
Cheers.
right. Bombs over.
Blessed each one of them.
You already knew the answer for my American bombs are Christian bombs.
No, it's pretty crazy. I'll tell you, as because this may come off terrible, but I look at every situation when we go to war, when the market goes up, when it goes down. There's follow the money.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I could right now, I would buy what is it, Petrobras?
No.
Is that the oil company for Russia or whatever it's called? I would buy the shit out of those shares.
Petro what?
Petrobras.
No, that's the
sounds
Mexican one
so
or Venezuelan
familiar.
one. But either way, whatever their company is, I would buy so many shares right now if I could because it's going to go through the roof. It's not like we don't need their commodities. We need
hold on,
Russia's
wait a minute.
commodities.
I know Elon Musk is probably watching this right now, and I know you've got
Elon Musk has gas wells.
No, I know, but he's also like listen. Don't even worry about buying Twitter anymore. Buy Russia. You get to control Russia. Forget you want free
They need some
speech.
controlling.
Oh no, it's still
Free the planet. Go buy Russia.
Let's do a
Right.
couple
We're
of
done with all this war crap.
quick,
Get
couple
back
of
to
quick
drilling.
facts, or let's see if anyone
Elon
knows
Musk,
these answers.
you can sponsor this too.
All right, what's your guess? How many people live in Russia?
78.
78. What do you think, Cody?
Man.
78.4.
78.
Oh, shit! You've seen the game.
Random. I was gonna say 80.
80.
I
How
don't
many
know.
people
That's
do
a
you,
lot.
How many people live in the United States as of the 2010 Census Bureau? You could use today's. I don't know what that number is, but I know 2010.
Are we at 3 billion
I
yet?
got 150 people in my
No.
neighborhood.
We're at 330 million.
Edmond's this big.
330 million. There's 80,000.
Wait a
people in
minute.
Edmond.
Hold on. That's not. No, you're wrong.
There's 330 million tax-paying or people that the United States are aware of. 327 million as of
There's 7 billion. There's
2010.
7 billion people
We're not that
in the.
big, buddy.
I know, but there's 7 billion people in the world,
China has
and
like
we're only at.
3.2 in
Holy
India.
moly.
No, that's why China
don't
and
have any
India are such a big
population at all.
deal. But anyway, so Russia, you guys said 80 people. I mean, Vladimir's cabinet, hell,
78.4.
his security alone is more
Yeah.
than. But anyway, so there's 330 million Americans as of the 2010 census. I only say that because I don't know where the number's at today. They do it every 10 years.
Right.
Russia, over that same period of time, 168 million. Now let's talk about their
Wow.
landmass.
That's twice as much as I thought.
No, think about their landmass is 2.5 times the United States. So at the same time, their natural resources compared to the United States is mind-boggling. They're 2.5 times. They don't have enough people to exploit it, to use it, but we need Russia. I'm just saying, Russia ain't going anywhere. We need all of their commodities, all their natural resources for copper, for lithium.
What if they don't want to give it to us? How about that?
That's an interesting thing that we're going to have to solve right now.
Okay, so curiosity always gets me right, and
We've not talked about casing near enough. Sorry, guys.
No,
I've not
well,
been in a room with
I
that.
actually
very
was
fluid.
I was
For fun.
I was about to ask about casing. So, do you sell overseas to anyone?
I don't have any.
Do you have any customers that are international yet?
personally.
I have some on the used pipe side. I have some customers that I ship used material off well sites to the Port of Houston after doing repurposing, and then export to Italy.
Nice.
So are you touching these whatever you're buying, this leftover, this shit that's
Do
been
you get to see
extracted?
it with your own eyes, or you?
Oh,
You're not
I
doing
didn't explain
anything.
that well enough. So
Broker.
okay.
Yeah. Are
So
you?
let's
You're a
say-
broker.
No, I'm not a broker. I own pipe. I buy pipe. Well, I guess I do 5%
We're
brokering.
technically both brokers in some
Yeah, yeah.
some
So,
shape.
so let's say like you had say you have a well in Oklahoma,
Right.
a mile down the road, and you just pulled a string of tubing, and it's corkscrewed or it's got splits all in it.
Let's
and-
talk. So nobody knows casing, corkscrewed. What is that? It's just twisted.
Yeah, it's just where it's all twisted all the way
Okay,
up, the
cool.
whole string.
So it's fucked.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to say.
So you would call me and say, "Hey, Cody, come out to my well
Pick up this fucked
inspect
string
this
of pipe.
and tell me what it's worth."
So
And that's where
Cody, are you befriending all the guys that because most of the wells
He's
that
a
have TNA
business startup. He will befriend everyone.
Well, I assume you're doing it the guys that are plugging the wells in, right?
I
Because
prefer to deal with the
they're
operators
turnkey.
directly.
Why? But a lot of the smaller guys like me, we turnkey it. We just say 50K. This guy's going to do the cement. He's going to extract whatever he wants out of the hole. You got to get to the pluggers too.
So the reason is because from an operator perspective, you're going to get more money selling it to someone like myself,
Sure.
who's selling it directly to
Somebody wants
commercial
it.
construction end users, whereas the pluggers are just flipping it straight to me for a profit
Gotcha.
when they could be paid for their work and not buy the pipe.
Noted.
Yep.
Well, I'll get your contact after this.
Yeah, I figured you'd want it. I figured
So
you'd want it.
basically, what he's saying is everything. Some of the stuff that he deals with is just on paper. It's just he signs a document.
Yeah, that's
it
a
gets.
broker.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes down the road.
No, that's great.
I
And
come out, I do a radiation inspect. I inspect for radiation. I inspect the threads, inspect the ID, OD tube, get freight rates, and within an hour, make an offer. And then within 24 hours, pay cash in advance and have a truck and forklifts in there the next day.
what is it? So you're getting this random ass whatever from 1940 was put down hole 60 or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're getting until it's out. How do you find a buyer for something like that?
Is it really that old at this
And
point?
don't get into your secret sauce. This is
No,
blowing my mind that you're
no,
taking.
so that's
this
where
shit.
April
It's not
2020
authentic.
started. Is we sold before that, the family business was doing these auctions off pipe like that, right?
Right.
And most of them were dealers. And so April 2020, there was so much boredom because there was nothing to do on oil and gas that I started looking really deep into like, what are these super niche, like commercial applications for pipe? And how can I remediate them to a level that that person can use it? Because I can get the pipe. I know the process. I know I have plenty of context to remediate it. And so that's like if I go on your well site and it's just a bunch of crap pipe, and I look at it and say, okay, 10% of it's got radiation, can't buy it. 10% of it's good. Look at my cost, who I can sell it to. And then the other 7% is bad. I need to send it to the scrapyard. I give you a take-all offer, and then I handle that. That's what I do for a living.
Cool.
That is cool. I know. That's very cool.
Man, so
I love that.
The amount of niches in our industry is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like I love it so much. The little things like that you wouldn't even think.
Well, so we talk about this all the time, right?
And you make millions.
We
You can do
hate
it. Everyone can be
our,
a millionaire.
our industry hates waste because any kind of waste,
Super efficient.
environmental waste is also financial waste. Just like we don't want flaring because instead we'd rather go put out a scrubber and a generator and a Bitcoin mine. You know, I'm always going to crowbar Bitcoin into here. Oh, you want whiskey? You got it, buddy. But again, our industry is the first.
I never think about that, but we are ungodly efficient. We are super efficient.
We do not want
People
waste.
think we're wasteful. We're not.
No, we are stewards of every.
Well, but you're always going to be fighting that if you look at the Bakken, right, at night. And it's lit up like the day, right?
But they don't
That's
want.
law.
But they
That's
don't.
law.
They don't want it to be.
No, it won't anymore with the Bitcoin mining or
Nat gas mining, with
Yeah.
nat gas.
Oh my
changes.
God.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
love
gonna,
that so much.
Yeah.
and I can't wait. So Max Gagliardi will be in here at some point. I got.
Wait. Tell me, Max, whatever this.
Have you followed Max yet? Okay, so Ankova, Max. Oh, I'm going to give you some.
No, which one's mine?
Is it Anclova?
Ankova.
I saw him at Empower.
Well, yeah, Max is great. So our kids are the same age, and we have the same park right next to our
And
houses.
the same name of the
His
show.
Max's show is the Talk Energy podcast. Mine's Talking Energy show. We started about the same time. I didn't know of Max, and Jeremiah were up in Trace podcast studio, the first one. We put it together, and he goes, "What do you want to call the show?" And we hashed it out. It's like, how about the Talking Energy show? Started putting it out there, and then all of a sudden Robert Hefner's in here, and then he's like, "Hey, did you know Max is annoyed with you?" I was like, "No, I didn't know that. Why?" Well, he has a Talk Energy podcast like crap. So I started watching that, and of course he's way better at it. His topics are smarter. He's smarter, and so
He gets better guests too every time.
Well, I mean, except for today.
Brutal. Jeez. We're in the hole for sure.
Better.
This is your neighbor?
Well, yeah, I mean Edmund, right, and a fellow Edmundite, and definitely better co-host too.
Good job.
But again, Ankova, so he is putting out, and all over the country you see this, but Bitcoin mines are where it's at, and I'm heavy. I love Bitcoin. I'm buying the crap out of it all the time. Or someday I'm gonna have my own. There's a company that has their own miners that you can buy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend from high school, he actually built his own mining station.
I'm ready, right? I'm gonna put one. I
Next level.
already have a gas line out of my house ready to put a generator next to my house for my Bitcoin mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready. I just have to have $20,000 to buy my Bitcoin mine too.
Yeah, well, he built it. He built it himself, and I want to say the first year he had it.
A good Bitcoin miner right now, $11,000.
Okay.
But I mean, the returns are incredible.
Right. Yeah.
It's all about the power.
Wampum Mining in Tulsa, they have 600 gas wells that go to one gathering point, and at their gathering facilities is their Bitcoin mine. And they bought a.
Here's something unspoken that I'm super excited about, and fuck Energy Transfer or anyone else that's listening to this because they're the worst. I'm so happy.
I like Energy Transfer.
Any of the pipeline companies. Once they put the pipeline,
I differ in that.
if you're a producer, you have no other choice, right? Or you could ask to lay another line if you had Enable or someone else that was 5 miles away, but you could have laid this line. Once that line is in the ground for gas transfer or whatever, that's it. So they own the line. They can charge whatever the heck they want. So by finding another avenue to use the gas that, if you say they all go to a central unit, none of that is going to any type of pipeline gatherer. They're just doing it themselves.
Same thing with the flares on your local dump.
Yeah, bring the power
Flares
back.
on local dumps.
Local like landfills or
Yeah.
Landfill, that flare out there can be a Bitcoin mine. It's incredible.
I never even thought about that for the methane mines.
Yeah.
Well, it's not methane mine, but they're all creating a bunch of methane. Are they doing that
for energy?
Or these local municipalities?
Newer ones are plugged more into it. Like they have the infrastructure to transport extra fuel, but the older ones don't. And is the capex worth it to them? And do they know Bitcoin?
No,
Who knows?
I hope
no,
not.
they didn't.
But no, then they call us
Hold
and
on.
say, we'll do it.
Waste management, they probably know Bitcoin by now.
And now,
I would hope so.
They're
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
You've heard of the Waste Management Open? Mm-hmm. It's a big ass golf tournament.
Yes,
They got
in
money.
Phoenix or something,
They
right?
know it. Yes.
Scottsdale, whatever.
Craziest
Oh, that sounds.
I love
thing
Scottsdale.
ever. No, one of the craziest days of my life was at that tournament.
Oh, I believe it.
Yes, it was amazing. So they
Tomorrow is going to be one of the
They got a lot
craziest
of
days
money.
of his life.
What's tomorrow?
So the future of oil and gas. I mean, I really want. I mean, I'm going to flesh this out at some point, but I will go drill a well. I will have my own natural gas. I will have a neighborhood built around my own natural gas neighborhood. Right. We will have our power generated from our own generator out there. We will have our own We will have our own financial system because it will all be based on Bitcoin, so that any leftover gas, right? I mean, it depends on the well, of course, we hope, but we'll have enough natural gas to power the entire neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have enough natural gas to create our own currency. Also, enough
What
natural.
would you name it?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna let you do that. Probably not the
Matt.
not the talking energy.
Matt.
Well, probably not the talking energy show because we'll piss off Max. But again,
Wait. What did you say? What is your name of your what?
No, he came.
he wants me to come
Matt,
up with the
Matt.
name of the
Matt, Matt.
neighborhood. I don't know.
Matt.
It'll be something like
That is our coin, Matt.
yeah. There you go.
Natural gas.
Matt.
Nat.
Matt.
God,
There you go.
stuff I put up with. I can't even pronounce. Anybody watching, just apologize for Jeremiah right now.
They're not even on yet. They
Yeah, I gotta hit record.
They're like, Cody's on.
I'm just-
we want to see.
I was just like, and that's why I cut you.
Cody's parents are proud. They hung up after that.
I don't even know what the podcast is.
What's the name of your podcast now? What's it gonna be?
The Pipe Club podcast.
The
is
Pipe
name of it.
Club
I
podcast.
What are
spent-
you going to talk about?
So,
Just
all things pipe.
only Will Country
so
Tubular.
you got to understand this. Like
We are
OCTG
it is
people,
whole
it's a
other
huge
world.
thing.
are
The whole world.
Why don't you have your own group
and
here
they're
in
crazy
Oklahoma?
people
No shit.
too.
You know,
Why?
we have the
What is
AADE, we have the IADC. Where's
Well-
the OC?
Are they all cheap and weird?
It's the
or
Pipe
just
Club.
Weird?
No, we do.
You have to start having the
through
Pipe
criminal
Club.
events.
Cool. I
Have
want
the
to be a
Pipe
part
Club
of that.
events.
I want to lay pipe.
All right, so here's the
Right?
future of the Pipe Club. Okay, it's going to start out as a podcast, and you
Yeah.
ask like, what's that podcast for? So it's going to be OCTG
Events.
people. It's going to be
Meetings.
mills. Well, just to start for the podcast.
Well,
the
how many
guest-
mills are in Oklahoma City?
No, it'll be mills across the entire world.
Yeah.
How many
Could be
meals
from
are across the
Argentina,
entire
Brazil,
world?
Spain.
A lot.
Already lined
Give it a
up.
rough number for me.
I
'Cause
don't
we
even
we
know
like
anything
big
would be in
numbers
the
here. We
US.
just found out this year how many wells are on the books that are like producing roughly 1 million, right? Like
Wow.
What?
They
Is it really?
yeah,
Is that
about one. Michael Dunn found out about 1 million wells are on the books as
bunny ears.
producing.
No, you got to have bunny ears around that. Producing because Copus is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's millions of wells that have been drilled, but I'm talking about on the books that they count as producing wells, whatever that begins at. But that is 1 million.
So if we're
how
making
many,
11 million barrels a day, right? Or what are we at right now? We're making
most of them are small wells.
Why not? So 1 million wells. So that means the average is 11 barrels a day.
Yeah, that's a very good average. So how many mills are
Not accurate at
available
all.
in the world to produce casing?
Well, what kind of casing do you want?
Yeah, there's there's
The
so
good
many
And what
stuff.
quality? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I want to be
Yeah,
chrome.
the metal. So that's
yeah.
that's the future. That's your
We
guys'
actually don't
business.
I don't
Chrome
sell a ton of chrome.
Yeah, nobody
Chrome's
does.
more
$50 a
offshore.
foot. No.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay,
Or a
so
storage.
Well, it depends. You're wanting
you're-
So we all know
1%
in
chrome?
the future, if you want to drill a really good well and you're going 3 miles, thick-walled casing is where it's at. I mean, the science is there. You don't want to mess around with all the deviations in the rock.
Well, I mean, it depends on your total depth.
Yeah,
know,
what is
man.
thick wall, by the way? And how much is
Yeah.
that a foot?
What
Yeah, well,
size? I mean,
So-
it's-
No, not think it, but you got to think of the rig. Still, the rig can only
Right.
has so much
Only
capacity.
holds so
Yeah.
much
Even the biggest
weight.
rigs, only 1 million
Right, that's a
pounds.
good
If you say
point.
thick wall and you're trying to do a 3-mile lateral,
So again, we're limited by what's on surface, but the rock below calls for thick wall casing.
well, does it call for that, or
On
is
production
just so
strings
long?
or
I mean, yeah. Again, we're gonna get off in the weeds here, but yes, on.
because I feel like the same production strings are still the
It's
same popular
5.5,
ones
23
today.
pounds.
No,
That's too
I
bad.
think I think Matt's
13,
referring to like
50.
when you go to 3 miles. So
Right.
something that's
Oh, a
that
3-mile
far out,
lateral.
yeah, getting it out there is
Okay.
going to be difficult, and you certainly couldn't replace it. So I assume they're using thicker casing for the longer laterals.
I hope so.
for the
I
toe.
mean, 23 pound.
I mean, 23, depending on certain. I see more
Now-
29 and 32 pound, but
With
I think it also the
with
connection
seismicity
is
nowadays,
very
and we
important.
know the way casing performs.
Well, and
I
the
mean,
different areas are going to have different string designs.
Sure.
So you've got your 7-inch and 6-inch areas, and then here
We had who was that guy that came in and talked to us about casing for the IEDC? Do you remember?
Apparently, they
Or,
didn't know
mean,
I
I'm
was
sorry,
even on this podcast.
the
so I'm
API.
not gonna answer that.
That we have
Oh,
we had somebody
It was
really
Bill.
yeah. So we had somebody come in and talk about casing design in the
was
future
Bill.
for API, and it
No
was
wonder.
great.
It's your buddy Bill. Something.
Yeah, I can't remember
Sorry.
anymore either.
He's Bill's
We have
gonna
a
be our
lot.
one
We have a lot of
listener.
guest
He's gonna
speakers.
cheer
Yeah,
up.
sorry, Bill.
Yeah, Audra made a good point. That's a super complex question
Strickland.
because based on you can go to any different region, any different operator, any different budget, and then they're always
Be
going
a
to run
different
different
design.
weights and even connections. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, are you going to drill with your casing?
Yeah,
Are
why
are
didn't you guys
gonna-
all get on board with the same connection? Really, why does there have to be more connections?
Why is there
on-
more than one type of truck?
Yeah, why is
Yeah.
everyone
Same
thinks they're
answer.
smarter than the other guy? If you guys were on the other
They
side,
all
of
do the same
fence-
thing, right? They drive down the road.
Delta versus P-Tech on the drilling side? What is it? What's the newest?
Delta versus Omicron. I don't know.
It's like a,
That was good.
XC.
That's pretty good.
So I guess it is different in shell plays.
Right,
What you're going to run in North Dakota is not something you're going to run in South Texas.
right.
You have your West Texas people are pretty much down to the same items. I mean, you've got
Yeah,
your slim
for
hull
sure.
design in the Delaware. You have kind of a more conventional design in Midland. Same with Oklahoma. I mean, everything is that is one item that is very, very hard. 5.5, 23 pound, either ICY or even a high collapse P110.
That's
with
the
a,
tube,
with
not
a
the
s-
connection. That's the
Right.
tube.
Well, that's the grade, yeah.
Yeah.
With a
What does that mean?
semi-premium connection on it.
What is the difference?
For
in
the
those
yeah,
two
for
types?
anybody that has never heard about.
So there's like a restricted yield P110, and then there's a high collapse P110.
What do you mean by restricted yield?
What would you consider?
It's just
restricted
that
yield?
all the very different things related to anything regarding the tube just comes down to the metallurgy.
There's no metal. So that's the future of your
Chemistry.
industry,
Let's
right
collapse
there.
it.
Is
Oh, yeah.
the metallurgy? That's really the last frontier for what you. There's not going to be a whole lot of change in efficiencies on casing
Right. Well, I feel like
until
the RY,
we get to metallurgy.
yeah.
Well, designs are.
The RY is a little softer grade, wouldn't you say?
That's a,
RY.
It's
It's
a
like
technical
it's
way to
it's like
describe
going
it.
to
I don't know.
it's
It's
like going
hard
to
to
Harbor
answer
Freight
that.
versus Sears Tools, right? I mean, it's like the quality
Yeah.
of the metals.
Right.
What is the future of casing? Is it still just going to be out of these standard metals?
Wired casing. Can you guys put data in the casing? I mean, yes, you can.
so I'll
Yeah,
have that on my
you
next
can,
podcast.
but-
yeah,
Thank you, buddy.
yeah, we have like, a whole episode planned on that.
Oh, can I be in? I want to just hear it. I just
More
want
than
to sit
welcome.
in the room.
Yeah, you're more
please.
than welcome. It
I mean,
has to do with barcoding and digital data tracking and downhole running and
Yeah.
all live. It'll be fun.
you can tell how much production is in the casing at the moment, right?
It's crazy.
different-
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people do not
Pre-
realize
pressures, like because right now we're sending cameras down the
Correct.
downhole, and they can shoot through the casing and find out how did your cement job go? What's behind the casing? Is there cement? Or is it just rock? Or is there space? Is this where we're going to get a bubble, or is this where we're going to collapse? On and on and on and on. But if we have that in the casing built in already,
Well, and a lot of that can also be done before you even have the casing in the hole.
Yeah.
And there's behind. I'm not going to say that the technology fully exists at this point, but I will say that there are
Fleshing it out.
conversations behind closed doors with major mills about looking at ovality anomalies on casing. Because, like, if you just look at a stick of pipe, you think it's a stick of pipe, right? But the straightness of that pipe is like a wave, and the thickness of that pipe is like
there's
a wave.
no dog legs when we drill. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So what they're looking at, certain people, they're looking at how can I run each joint down to maximize my cost versus my production at the end is the most important thing, and well, sealability, of course, but
Right.
so that those pressures that can collapse maybe have a higher collapse in that area of the zone has a thicker wall, and the ones that have a less collapse has a less wall, and picking the joints and running them at the right time, even if it's the same wall thickness within the same scale.
That sounds like a incredible undertaking to make sure the right
Oh, I know.
wall thickness pipe is picked up at the right time.
Well, when I was 16, if you gave me a smartphone, I wouldn't even know how to turn it on.
Right.
So it's just
What about
never
what about
know.
like casing
Color coded, I guess. You
Could
got to
we,
find some simple way for the rough.
could we go ahead and put charges in the casing and like blow out our own holes instead of like gun setting them off?
I've never thought of that.
Right.
Hey, I mean,
Saying. I mean,
at this
like,
point, things impossible.
Right.
That's
I
it.
don't-
You know, the problem with that is they would be angled at the wrong direction. So
You can angle blast holes now anywhere you want.
well, I understand
the-
that, but
the
if
new-
they're
the newest-
molded into the casing,
But the newest
That's gonna be
perfs, like
difficult.
they have directional perfs now too. And like what? Hey,
Oh,
this
the
goes
guns,
better stuff.
the
Yeah,
big
the
guns.
perf guns
dude, that
go
would
this
be,
way.
how would you do that with a piece of casing?
I don't know yet.
We do perfect. I mean,
Spitballing here.
Just saying.
Yeah, all right,
What's-
give me to the next
What's going to
step,
be
I
the
guess,
future of? When I say the future of casing, like we're coming up with ideas, and just like Star Trek, they came up with things. We just came up with it here.
I love it.
Just nerd us out. If anybody is ever watching this from outside looking in, like yes, we're nerds and we love casing.
that's right.
And oil and gas, baby.
That's right.
All right, well, I'm gonna get you guys out of here. We've,
Oh, you're fine.
I told you it goes quick, and this is how
Love it, short
on
form.
on your very next podcast, you're gonna go for 5.5 hours of the first one.
Yeah.
'Cause I never want to leave. I'm finally got Audra in here, and and Jeremiah. I love him, and anytime he wants to sit next to me and drink whiskey, we're gonna do it.
I like
Thanks
that
for having
intensity.
us.
Yeah.
And
Jeremiah's
you,
nice meeting you too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
you're about to embark on your first podcast, and
Oh wait, you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's
So
kinda-
everything
gonna have us
arrives.
on?
All the equipment arrives Friday. This weekend we're setting up production. We're recording Tuesday.
well,
So
don't worry when
At
it
the
fails.
house?
are we your first
It's-
one or second one?
Are you doing it at the
I'm
house?
only trying to make this awkward because I know you haven't been invited.
Don't be awkward about it. Just know that it's gonna
yeah,
suck.
that it's rude that you didn't
Get
Your
hit
ep-
from
invite
multiple
us.
Your
directions. here. I'm
episodes
trying
are
to
gonna.
change
Some
question and
episodes
answer.
are just gonna suck. It's not the guest. It's you. You did it yourself. It's terrible.
You know
on
what?
You.
Bad publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
So
More. I know. More whiskey.
Just a wee bit more.
Oh, hey.
Leave
And
it.
the reason I brought you in here so you'd learn one lesson: more whiskey.
keep it loose.
Dude, yeah.
Keep it loose.
I wish I had more questions for you.
Well, I have a million.
On casing. Well, so
I got plenty of answers.
actually, I have someone I want you to talk to because they hit me up. They're in Nevada. My mom actually called me about this 6 months ago, which is too late, Cody, but there'll be another one. But this guy was trying to make fences. He's like, I can't find the steel. And so I actually have someone that'll probably sell you something too that's been in his yard.
What's our next episode on casing? Who's Elizabeth? Tell me about her.
Elizabeth Matson is a good friend of mine. We have a lot of mutual college friends.
And she is here in Oklahoma.
She is.
And she
Is she doing-
she owns a mill.
No, so she worked for a mill.
Worked for a mill.
Called Paragon Industries, and now she's back in distribution.
There he is. If she's watching this, I know she will because you're going to show her.
I didn't ask these questions.
She was a
isn't
customer
the
of mine as well.
Janitor,
Yes.
is she?
Huh?
She's not the janitor.
No, she's
No,
like the.
she's awesome.
Okay, cool. So,
Wait, whoa!
No, we've had
For
some
every
good
janitor
ones,
out
dude.
there.
No,
Whoa, whoa,
no, I mean-
sorry,
Matt's like,
Audra.
oh, we had
Sorry
someone that
about
worked at this
Audra,
place.
yeah.
He
My
was
bad.
the janitor. I
Treat- hey,
didn't know anything about the process.
Sorry, Elizabeth.
CEO and the janitor.
You got a little bit snootier. That's
No, I'm not. No, CEO and the
Oh,
janitor
get a little
treated-
Botox across the street,
treated
and what do
the
you know?
Same way, whatever.
Did you get a little Botox?
No,
No.
Look at that forehead. It's moving a bit.
I'm just saying. No, you're right.
I can't tell you're saying it because
She's
you're
gonna
What?
murder me.
moving.
Whatever. Treat the CEO the same as you would the janitor.
Yeah, just saying. The COO is what she's saying. Elizabeth's going to be on here next time.
That's right.
wealth of
I'm gonna
knowledge.
drag her with
Good
me
girl.
if she.
We can do this. Hey, anytime you want to actually get some listeners versus what you're doing, just bring them in here. You have them
Done.
podcast here.
Yeah. Anything you want to talk pipe, bring me in.
I'm also competitive.
Yes.
If there's another podcaster in Edmond about oil and gas, I want to
a
be
mile
on your
away.
show.
I don't know.
But I also want to promote it. I want to beat it, but I want to promote it.
You got it, Matt.
So Matt, your takeaways for us to discuss with our colleagues are why are there not more domestic mills?
Yes. At the end of the day, for me, I always want to promote oil and gas
Right.
from America.
For sure.
If we say we're an independent oil and gas country, let's actually make it independent.
Correct.
So, Matt,
Let's-
would you consider yourself a nationalist? That'd be
Yes.
someone- yeah.
I would put up
State
walls as far as the eye can see around our country. And I would put, honestly, once I get my, just like I said, I was going to flesh it out, right? I'm going to get a rig that's ours. I'm going to drill our own well.
One.
I like that plan.
Our own well has our own gas.
Like a real life version of Sims.
Our own gas has our own, what? Generator.
Matt.
Generator. We need a
Matt.
generator. A generator has our own neighborhood.
Yes.
And then that neighborhood produces its own.
I think it's great.
We have our own
What do
electricity.
you guys think Matt's RV would look like if he was going across the United
A
States?
gun turret on top.
Red, white, and blue.
They go,
There's
"Oh,
a
you sign
fucking
on it."
eagle. Like
Yeah.
a
Oh, you see my
eagle
shirt.
comes up and
I have a
down,
shirt with that, yeah.
It would be like we're the Millers, but
Oh, you guys are sweet.
like way cooler.
Yeah, way cooler.
Way
A
cooler.
lot of pride in that.
A lot of
Like,
whiskey too.
Yes, a lot of American whiskey
American.
on that.
A little bit of Utah. You can be one of my multiple wives.
Oh, please.
Missy, kill us all.
Yeah.
Matt, before
Yeah.
we close, can
I'll
I
just-
plug my
I'll-
contact info?
Plug.
Dude,
I want
yes.
you all to plug yourselves real quick. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
mean, at the end of the day, I love you, love you, love you. Plug yourselves. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure. So if you're an oil and gas operator out there, you have a lease, or if you're a rancher and you got a backyard or you get pipe in a pipe yard and you need to sell it, I'm sure you already have people that buy it. Add me to your bid list. It's Cody Spaulding, Cody at scissortailpipe.com. And then my cell phone number is 405-802-6294. I travel to West Texas. I travel to the Northeast. I travel to the Haynesville. I travel to the Barnett, Houston on a monthly basis. I'm not 2 or 3 times a month. Anywhere, anytime, give me a shout.
There we go. Good job.
Cody living the American dream.
Audra,
That's right.
do it.
I'm a regional sales manager for JD Rush Corporation.
JD Ross.
I've been doing this about 10 years now, and I mainly do sell to new new pipe for operators that are drilling new wells. I have done some surplus stuff. It's a little you get a little
Whatever,
messy.
whatever.
Yeah, it
when
gets a little messy. when
You're
you
like
get
me.
into
Like
that.
if my friendstomers come to me and they need something, I'm going to figure out how to get it to them.
Yeah, but it's messy. It can be messy when you go from new to surplus and all that
Yes,
kind of stuff.
agree.
But
You need a good dealer like Audra.
yeah, you need someone who's
Knows what they're doing.
paying attention for sure because
Paying attention in the middle name. Yeah, middle name. Paying attention.
paying attention.
All right. What about you? You want to plug anything? What's it? What API?
Yeah, I don't even know what's happening.
Let's plug
No,
the
everything's good. API is great. Wait,
We're on the board
Jeff
together.
Fisher.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Jeff Fisher.
It is Jeff Fisher, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher is speaking next week.
Yep.
Next week for API.
Thursday.
Go sign up.
This
API,
week. It's this week, by the way.
Everyone go to that.
It's in 2 days.
Please come and join us.
API
yeah.
OKC.com.
For everyone listening, reach out to our friends. Say hello to Jeremiah and
Stay active.
stay
in
active in oil and gas. And we put
Go to events, spend the money to attend them, get the free drink tickets.
Yeah, go to
Support us, do it.
oilfieldtailgate.com. You'll see a calendar there with all the meetings and events, and that's it.
Yeah.
When is the ABI thing? You said Thursday?
Thursday at H&H.
Yeah.
Gun range.
Ah,
There's
So
always
Jeff-
oil and gas events in Oklahoma.
Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
but he's the drilling manager for Devon, so it'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Jeff
for sure
Fisher.
to attend.
gotcha.
All right. Thank
Cool.
you. Appreciate you.
All right.
Take care. God bless. See you next time.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
Watch this.
Oh wait, I forgot about that.
That's like a thunder game.
So when we started doing this, which no one knows.